Welcome to part of our CES 2022 coverage. We'll be making short videos like this throughout the CES show to keep you up to date on the latest developments. Hit subscribe and the notification bell to make sure that you see the moment we post a new video. Like most outlets, we had planned on going to CES, then COVID decided to get really nasty, and so now we're covering CES virtually. We'd spent a chunk of change on getting ready to go and then not going, so if you'd like to support the channel, please do check out Patreon and our other links below. We're on day 3 of coverage, but Monday and Tuesday were technically press days, so if you're actually in Vegas for the event, this would be the first show day. And originally, General Motors CEO Mary Barra was meant to be giving CES's opening keynote this year. Yes, I know, don't write angry letters to me. I wasn't the person who tried to make it look like GM invented the electric car a few months back. I might have just voted for him. Anyway, the GM keynote was going to be full of great exciting news, and while I'm actually flying somewhere right now to film a top secret special CES report from somewhere in America, I'm able, through the power of embargoed material, to give you a bit of a lowdown on 2 of the big reveals featured in this keynote. They are, in no particular order, the world premiere of the Silverado EV and some pretty large orders for GM's Brightdrop delivery vehicles from FedEx and Walmart. Let's look at the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado EV first. Built on the same Ultium platform that underpins the Hummer EV and the upcoming Cadillac Lyriq, GM says the Silverado EV is a ground-up vehicle. It's been built from the ground up. Thanks to Ultium, it has a claimed 400 miles, 643-kilometer range, and an estimated sprint time of 4.5 seconds or less. Thanks to Ultium, it also has 350 kilowatt rapid charging and an optional 10.2 kilowatts of onboard power. Yep, like the F-150 Lightning, this truck is designed to let you power your home in an emergency, if you have the required equipment, of course. But unlike the Ford F-150 Lightning, which looks pretty identical to its internal combustion engine counterparts from a distance, the Silverado EV gets its own unique profile, with the same angled cab rear as the Hummer EV. Up front, there's an all-new nose, which GM says has been styled to help it cut through the air. Think less brick, more SUV-like. There's less front overhang and a larger crew cab interior than the ICE version, with more rear seat load space as well. Like most ground-up EVs on the road today, there is also a front trunk. A little smaller, I'd wager, than some, but it's the rear end that really has the super smarts. Aside from the in-bed power takeoff, 3 outlets per side, the Silverado EV has what GM calls a Multiflex tailgate. The bed itself is 5 foot 11 inches, 1.8 meters, but drop the rear seats down in the rear of the cab and you can extend the load bay into the rear of the vehicle to a total of more than 10 feet 10 inches of load bay space, or 3.3 meters. The first EV we remember doing this was the Bollinger B1, and we are super glad to see a mainstream automaker deciding to follow this smart and innovative feature. After all, there's no tailpipe emissions to worry about, so smart move, GM. There's a butt-ton of onboard technology, phone as a key, touchscreen display, and on-column shifter, not to mention hands-free driver assistance with the latest iteration of Super Cruise. The order book's open today, and it does look like a great vehicle, assuming Ultium is more reliable than the previous LG-GM battery partnership. Say no more. While the Silverado EV will eventually be offered in a range of prices from under $40,000 all the way up to $80,000 and will be available in both work truck guises as well as more recreational-inspired RST variants, you're in for a small wait. The work truck with the largest battery capacity will debut in spring of 2023, while the RST First Edition model, with all option boxes ticked, won't come until the end of next year. The former's price hasn't been discussed yet, but the latter's, it'll go for $105,000 US. Ouch. We'll be featuring this truck more in the future, but let's turn our attention now to the other big news that GM has brought from the keynote, that massive expansion of the Brightdrop delivery vehicle fleet. Brightdrop, which also uses Ultium as its technology base, already has vehicles on delivery fleets in the US, and today both FedEx and Walmart announced massive orders with that company to expand their fleets. Both companies have pledged to go zero emission by 2040, so FedEx and Walmart are taking their first steps to make that all happen. FedEx has signed an agreement to reserve priority production for 2 2,000 Brightdrop delivery vehicles for its fleet, in addition to the 500 it already ordered last year, over the next few years, and it says it wants to add more than 20,000 Brightdrop delivery vehicles in the future. Meanwhile, Walmart has signed a reservation for 5,000 Brightdrop vehicles, split between the Brightdrop EV600 and Brightdrop EV410. The former is already in production, and the latter is due to enter production later next year. Having attended a press briefing on this news yesterday, I questioned both Walmart and FedEx on their plans for charging infrastructure for these new fleets, and while the answer was a little vague, it does seem that Walmart and FedEx are already installing charging infrastructure at their respective depots, stores, and warehouses to facilitate an all-electric future. Of course, the announcements are only good if they're followed through, but with both FedEx and Walmart already ordering electric vehicles from other companies, it certainly feels more than standard corporate greenwashing. That said, the biggest challenge I think right now isn't to FedEx or Walmart, but rather to GM, which, like pretty much every other automaker out there, is production constrained by raw materials and battery packs. GM's massive expansion plans for battery facilities with battery partner LG Energy have been accelerated multiple times in the last few months, and we're going to be watching very carefully to see if they pay off. That's it for this update. Keep that notification bell tapped to keep up with our latest coverage from CES, because we'll be back with more soon. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave your thoughts below or in our free to join Discord chat room. There is a link below. If you haven't already, do make sure you've subscribed to this channel and our other channel, Transport Evolved Take 2, for behind the scenes and longer takes. Thanks on behalf of the entire TE crew go out to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month patrons, that's Chris Maxwell, Brian Newton, Jason Bordor, Dave Kitchen, Michael Goad, Ricky Leon, Andrew Martin, Guido Drahota, Brophy Wolf, Tashlin and the Gong, Gordon C, Stephen O'Donoghue, Carl Hodgson, Anthony Coates, Regine Fellows, Rory Litwin, Anonymous Freak, Jim Burness and Denny Hyde, and our deepest gratitude goes to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, Joe Bresney, JP Fagerback, Will Graylin, Matthew Drobnak, John Lyons, Christopher Lee Jones, Laura Reynolds, Paul Conway, Ellery Hennesley, and Ian. If you're feeling left out, you can join Patreon at the link below, or show us your support through Bitcoin, Ko-fi, or our cool swag store. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!